gangster or an entertainer or a collaboration of both? How would you respond to that?
You know, I get money in the entertainment business, but we could get gangster at any time. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want nobody to ever get it twisted. That's the reason why Ross really don't have no problems in the streets.
How do you feel about Bawse giving you the name Officer Ricky? I just want to hear it from you.
Baby, I'm worth too much money to even be, sidetracked on this carpet.
Picture this, it's 2011. The hip-hop world is dominated by a king, a self-made mogul whose very persona is built on excess, on luxury, on a refusal to bow to anyone or anything. His name is Rick Ross, and he is living a lie. He's the Bawse, the man who brags about starting his day with a glass of rosé, the man whose empire is built on an image of invincibility.
I wouldn't be the boss rosé if I didn't begin my day with a glass of rosé.
But beneath the gold chains and the Maybach music, a silent war is being waged inside his body. A war he's ignoring. A war he's losing. The chickens, as they say, were coming home to roost. And when they did, it would trigger a chain of events so catastrophic, it would bring this larger-than-life figure face to face with his own mortality. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. This isn't just a weight loss story. This is the story of a man who had to watch his entire empire, his very identity, crumble to dust before he could rebuild it from the ashes. This is the story of what really happened to Ricky Rose, the rapper we know as Rick Ross, born William Leonard Roberts II, wasn't always the health-conscious entrepreneur we see today. For years, he wasn't just playing a character, he was living it. And that character was slowly committing suicide. Let's rewind to the peak of his power, October 14th, 2011. The album Teflon Don has cemented his status as a hip-hop icon. He's untouchable. He's on a private jet, soaring from Fort Lauderdale to Memphis, the master of his universe. And then everything goes dark. Mid-flight, at 30,000 feet, with nowhere to run, his body betrays him. A violent seizure. Unconsciousness. The invincible Bawse, suddenly helpless. The pilot has to make an emergency landing. CPR is administered on the tarmac. The situation is critical, but here's where it gets truly shocking. It reveals a mindset so entrenched in hustle, so addicted to the grind, that it borders on self-destruction. After being rushed to the hospital and treated, what does Rick Ross do? He gets right back on another plane, determined to make his show, denying the reality of what just happened. And then it happens again. A second seizure in the air, another emergency landing, this time in Birmingham, Alabama. 2 seizures, 1 day, 2 brushes with death. This wasn't a warning shot, this was a direct hit. The doctors in Birmingham ran their tests. The diagnosis? Severe sleep deprivation. Ross was sleeping just 3 hours a night, but that wasn't the whole story. The real truth was far more sinister. At nearly 350 pounds, his physician looked him dead in the eye and delivered a life or death ultimatum. Change or face the consequences. You'd think that would be the moment, the wake-up call. But the grip of addiction and ego is a powerful thing. In his memoir, Hurricanes, Ross would later admit the terrifying truth: it wasn't just sleep.
So when I had a seizure, I said, you know where that come from? Me not resting, me not sleeping, me sipping lean in the studio to 7 a.m.
The real culprit was a heavy nightly abuse of codeine-based lean. A full bottle at times mixed with alcohol, a toxic cocktail mixed with a grueling schedule and a massive weight, creating a perfect storm inside him. But even then, the invincibility complex held strong. He downplayed it. He even rapped about it.
I did have a major weight loss transformation, and I think what truly inspired that was me suffering my first seizure. And after I did that, I began to spend more time looking at myself, taking care of myself, investing in myself, and I realized I had to change my diet, my sleeping habits, here we are.
Minor setbacks. That's what he called staring death in the face. This was a man who genuinely believed his will could overcome any physical law. The 2011 scare did spark a change. He launched CrossFit, lost nearly 100 pounds, worked with a chef, and seemed to be on a new path. By 2014, the transformation was staggering. He looked like a new man. But here's the brutal truth about real transformation that nobody talks about. It's not a straight line, it's a battlefield. And for Rick Ross, despite the progress, the worst was still lurking in the shadows. In 2017, he suffered another seizure, this one kept private. The pattern was clear, but the root cause, the codeine, the relentless pace, wasn't fully severed. And then March 2nd, 2018. The phone call that sent shockwaves through the hip-hop world. Rick Ross is found unresponsive in his Miami mansion. The scene is horrifying. He's foaming at the mouth. He's defecated on himself. He's struggling to breathe. Rumors of a heart attack explode. TMZ reports he's on ECMO life support, a machine that does the work of your heart and lungs. The internet erupts prayers, rumors, whispers that the Bawse is gone. His family fights back against the death rumors, but for 4 days he's hospitalized, fighting for his life. When he's released, he posts a simple message: "Ain't nothing like home." But behind that photo was a man who had finally, truly looked into the abyss. This wasn't another minor setback. This was the final warning. The seizure was so severe he aspirated, leading to aspiration pneumonia and respiratory failure. He was coughing up blood. This was it, and this time he listened. This is where the story flips. This is where Rick Ross didn't just change his diet, he changed his destiny. The 2018 near-death experience was the catalyst for a complete and total systems overhaul. He quit codeine, cold turkey, no more lean, the very substance that defined a part of his culture. The thing he thought he needed was gone. He transformed his diet not into something joyless, but into something sustainable. He finally prioritized sleep. He understood that rest wasn't laziness, it was fuel. The weight loss was dramatic and, more importantly, permanent. He denied using quick-fix drugs, crediting his own discipline. CrossFit evolved from a workout into a philosophy, but he didn't stop there. This is where Rick Ross does something most celebrities don't. He uses his second chance not just for himself, but to throw a lifeline to millions. He launched JetDoc, a telehealth app to provide affordable healthcare to underserved communities. He invested his own money. He donated tens of thousands to keep local clinics open. He introduced cultural meal kits, promoting nutritious eating with the mantra, "Health is wealth." Now, I want you to think about something. Look at his journey, look at the lessons. What do you think is the most powerful takeaway from his story? Is it the importance of quitting vices, the power of sleep, or is it something deeper about ego and vulnerability? Let me know what you think in the comments below. I read every single one, but let's be clear, the Rick Ross story is never simple. His empire continued to expand, but so did the controversies, because the man who learned the value of his life didn't lose his taste for the game. His real estate portfolio is the stuff of legend. A 109-room Georgia estate, a Florida mansion with a 9-car garage. He owns Wingstop franchises, partners with champagne brands, and has his own cannabis line. And in 2025, he made his most intriguing business move yet, a partnership with South Beach Brewing Company, founded by none other than the Bachelor's Lorenzo Borghese. Together, they're launching a line of THC-infused beverages. A genius move or a risky return to vice? The court of public opinion is still out. Then came the viral moments. He publicly clowned NBA star Jaylen Brown for his hair dye mishaps, creating an instant classic of a viral video. But the controversy that truly raised eyebrows was his his performance at a MAGA-themed Cruel Kids Halloween party. This is the same Rick Ross who once rapped about destroying the system under Trump fans felt betrayed. Was this hypocrisy or just the Bawse getting a bag regardless of politics? It's a question that hangs in the air, proving that even in his transformation, Rick Ross remains a complex and often contradictory figure. Through it all, the music never stopped. He's preparing his 12th album, headlining international festivals, and his social media presence is as potent as ever. So, what is the real lesson of the Rick Ross health saga? It isn't that you have to become a monk. Look at his kitchen tour. He still starts his day with rosé. He still demolishes Wingstop lemon pepper wings. The lesson is balance. You can still be the boss. You can still build your empire. You can still enjoy the fruits of your labor, but you cannot do any of it if you are dead. Rick Ross learned the hardest way possible that the ultimate flex isn't a private jet or a 100-room mansion. The ultimate flex is owning your health. It's being alive to enjoy the empire you built. He proved that real power isn't about being invincible. It's about having the courage to be vulnerable, to change, and to use your second chance to help others secure their first. The wake-up call came. And for Ricky Rose, for the first time in his life, he finally decided to wake up. This has been Behind the Fame. We've exposed the life or death struggle behind the Bawse persona. Now, we want to hear from you. The conversation doesn't end here. We've covered his health, his business, his controversies. What topic do you want us to break down next? Whose empire, whose struggle, whose behind-the-scenes story do you want exposed? Comment below and let us know. Your input directly shapes our next investigation.